The Xbox handheld could be here as soon as this holiday season. What is up, y'all? I am Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff. The latest news, rumors, games, accessories, pretty much anything I want to talk about as long as it's about Xbox in some way. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing all of the revelations from the bombshell report that Windows Central just dropped on us about the future of Xbox hardware. Now, the other day I was on Instagram and I come across Esports Center. He is a guy that I've met at a few events. I've been following him ever since. He does gaming news, gaming content. And in this reel specifically, he was talking about the Ghost of Hope rumors that were being talked about last week. How the next-gen Xbox is targeting a 2026 release, and that the new Call of Duty for that year is going to be a launch title for it. And then I open up the comments, and I see that one of them is like, dude, wake up, get real. Xbox, they're not doing hardware anymore. They're not going to make Xboxes. Look at them, they're just putting all of their games on PlayStation and Switch. They're going to go the way of Sega Dreamcast. I see a lot of that sentiment going around, and to be fair, if you were just observing what Xbox is doing, I could see how you would draw that conclusion. For as long as I can remember, pretty much my whole life, I have bought consoles based off of the exclusives that I would have access to. I bought an Xbox 360 because all of my friends were playing Halo 3 and I didn't want to feel left out. You buy a PlayStation to play Last of Us, Spider-Man, that's just how it's always been. So again, random commenter on Esports Center's page, I can see how you would draw that conclusion. No more exclusives means no more hardware for Xbox. But in a surprising twist, it looks like that we're not gonna have less Xbox hardware. We're gonna have more options than we ever have before. That's of course been the prevailing theory up until this point. Xbox is working on a Series X successor that's going to represent the largest technological leap in a generation, or whatever Sarah Bond said, and we're also going to be getting a handheld. And a new report from Windows Central that is just setting fire to the games media industry has some new details regarding these next-gen consoles, including a rumor that we may be getting an Xbox handheld as soon as this year, 2025. In this report, Jez Corden says, "This is everything that I've learned. I don't know how he learned it. Did he break into Xbox headquarters up in Redmond? Who knows?" But he says that first off, Microsoft, while they are working on their own first-party handheld gaming device, they're also partnering up with a PC gaming OEM for an Xbox-branded handheld. So kind of in the same way that Steam partnered up with Lenovo to bring SteamOS to their handhelds, Xbox will bring their gaming experience that they've been working on, blending the best of Windows and Xbox, and partner up with Asus or MSI or another company. It's codenamed Keenan and is apparently going to have unmistakable Xbox branding. You look at this thing, you're gonna know that's an Xbox device. It's even gonna have a guide button. He goes on to say that he'll expect that they'll leverage the Xbox Game Bar on PC for controlling things like TDP and fan speed, while hopefully having a more streamlined OS experience for controller use. And then for people who don't give a damn about handhelds, he moves on to the next-gen equivalent of the Series X. He mentioned this a couple of weeks back, and in this article he says it again, that his internal sources have indicated that the plans for the next-gen Xbox have been approved all the way up the ladder, all the way up to Satya Nadella, and that these next-gen consoles are going to look more like PCs. The headline that you've probably seen up until this point is that it's going to be a PC with a TV-friendly shell. That is leading him to believe that this next Xbox not only is it going to give you access to Xbox games, the Microsoft Store, but also Steam, also the Epic Games Store. Going back to that branded handheld for a sec, the one that's supposed to release this year. It's important to note that distinction. This is not a first-party option from Xbox, not yet. The last time we heard about the official Xbox handheld was from Phil Spencer himself. He was like, yeah, we're working on it, but you gotta give us time to cook. We'll get around to releasing it when we get around to it. And that their main focus right now is observing how the current handheld market is going, seeing what they can learn, and hopefully apply that and make a better product for their own handheld. A branded partner handheld gaming device for Xbox, that makes a whole lot more sense. Xbox has a plethora of other third-party partners for controllers, for accessories. They are not afraid to license out that Xbox name. And the blueprint is already there. These handhelds are popping up like crazy. After they launched the Steam Deck, we got the Ally, we got the Lenovo Legion Go, we got all of these other devices. Xbox approaching one of these hardware manufacturers, that's a low-risk way of trying to put the feelers out in terms of how people would respond to an Xbox handheld. They could gather very valuable valuable research and data without having to invest in their own product, producing it, distributing it. We also know that Xbox is no stranger when it comes to revealing hardware during the June showcase. This would be the perfect time for them to say, hey, we got this new device. We partnered up with Lenovo, with Asus for Xbox branded handheld. Isn't that cool, guys? I am a little worried though. I would rather them release the Xbox handheld sooner than later, because every moment that they wait, they're losing market share to their competitors, especially Steam, who is already one step ahead of them in licensing out SteamOS to other hardware manufacturers. There are a few things that they gotta iron out though. It's all well and good that these new Xboxes are gonna be more like PCs, and when it comes to the handheld specifically, it's pretty safe to assume that's gonna function very similarly to my Ally right now. But if I were to buy an Xbox handheld, I would want it to be treated more like a gaming device. That probably sounds dumb, like, yeah, you buy a gaming handheld to play games on it. That's exactly what I was thinking when I picked up my Ally. But during the startup of it all, like, the game seemed like an afterthought. It was treating it like a Windows 11 PC. It asked me a million times whether or not I wanted to subscribe to Microsoft Office or whatever package bundle that they had. And it's like, okay, that's a nice option, but I'm not trying to use this for PowerPoint. I'm trying to use this to game. And one of the biggest things that pisses me off about the Ally is that I can't use the built-in controller to navigate the keyboard. That makes no sense. And while yes, my Armory Crate shortcut, whatever, that's cool, I would much prefer, maybe just because I'm used to it at this point, I would much prefer either the Xbox Game Bar having the built-in shortcut for that or an Xbox Guide. If anything, my ROG Ally kind of proves the concept of how cool these next-gen Xboxes could be. Opening up my Armory Crate app and seeing all of my different launchers, Steam, Xbox, Epic. I don't really go on Epic, but the other ones I use a lot. Transferring that over to a console experience that plugs right into my TV, that's really cool to think about. Going back to the handheld though, they gotta make sure that games run well on it, especially the first-party ones. Now, they've said previously that their experience making games for the Series S has proved helpful in trying to make games for a potential handheld. Because obviously the name of the game when you're developing for the Series S is like, how can I get my big-ass modern game to run on this $300 bit of hardware? And to a certain degree, I believe that, but also I'm not entirely convinced. I mostly say that because I recently tried to play Avowed on my Ally. It was running, but it was kinda so-so. It was stuttering kinda bad, and overall, it just kind of showed me the limitations of modern games on a handheld gaming device like the Ally and a potential handheld Xbox. Moving on to the Series X2, the Xbox Prime, whatever the hell they're gonna name it, the PC with a console-type shell. Like I was just talking about with the handheld, this is, in my opinion, a very cool idea and the next logical step for Xbox as a brand. A console that embodies this current philosophy that they have going on, this emphasis that they have on the Xbox ecosystem, not just the console. If they pull it off, this could be a really awesome way to continue on in their efforts in the PC gaming world without leaving their console audience behind. And if it turns out to be that you can have these other storefronts on your Xbox console like Steam, Xbox owners would never have to be worried about missing out on a game that is only on PC. This idea of a cross-platform, cross-play future. At first I was like, I don't really know, I kind of like my console separate, but I've been playing Monster Hunter Wilds. I talked about this in a previous video, and that game shows how cool cross-platform, cross-play could really be. I'm the only one in my friend group that plays Monster Hunter on Xbox. My other friends are playing on PS5 and Steam. And I'm like, damn, this is really cool. And of course, now Discord is on Xbox, it's on consoles as well. So I can talk to my friends on Steam. We can all be communicating with each other, playing the game, no matter what platform we're on. And it's stuff like that that makes me pause. I'm like, okay. Maybe this future that Xbox is trying to sell us on, where it's like, the future is not exclusive games. It's playing games with as many people on as many platforms as possible. I'm like, okay, maybe just a little bit. I'm starting to see it. I'm not quite there yet, but I get a glimpse of it when I'm playing something like Monster Hunter Wilds. It would also be really cool if they adopted some other great things about PC gaming, like, I don't know, dropping the paywall to play your games online. And while previous rumors were clocking the release of the next-gen Xbox in 2026, Mr. Jez Corden is of the belief that it will instead be 2027. Whether it's going to be 2026 or 2027, that's anyone's guess. No matter what year it releases, I do believe that Xbox they're not going to wait until 2028 to drop their next-gen hardware. Whether it's a year or a 2-year jump on the PlayStation 6, which is presumably going to launch in 2028, it's going to launch early. That's what I'm betting on. Now, why wouldn't they wait a full console generation before releasing the next-gen lineup? Well, I believe that current circumstances for Xbox are eerily similar to the last time they dropped a console early or they cut a console generation short. I was reminded of this during Gamertag Radio's interview with Peter Moore, who used to be the Phil Spencer during the 360 generation. And he was asked, he was like, yo, like, what's the deal with, coming out with the 360 early, getting a jump on the PS3, cutting off support and sales for the original Xbox? What's the deal with that, Peter? And he was basically saying, okay, number one, we lose money on every console sold. Number two, we already knew the direction that we wanted to take Xbox, and the original Xbox, it just wasn't going to serve those needs. We knew that we wanted high definition in gaming. The original Xbox couldn't do that. We also knew that we wanted to adopt broadly Xbox Live. We knew that the original Xbox couldn't do that. And now here we are, Xbox in 2025, and we know that they lose money on every Series X and S console sold, and that they want to take their gaming division in a radically different direction. A direction that the Series X and S might not necessarily serve. The only thing that seems a little bit questionable about this whole Windows Central report, and I'm not saying it's questionable, I just don't think that's how it's gonna shake out, is that at one point Jez Corden says this new Xbox could be like comparable to a high-end PC. We know that Xbox, they're not trying to make $800,000, $900,000 consoles. They're trying to keep the price low. So while yes, I do think it's gonna be more powerful than the Series X, duh, but we shouldn't get our hopes up too high. This thing isn't gonna be as powerful as the most insane rigs that you've seen. That's not gonna stop people from hoping. I mean, we went into this generation thinking that we were gonna be gaming at 4K 120 FPS. And the reality is that that's just not happening. Unless it was a separate thing, unless they partnered up with another hardware manufacturer and just had like a branded Xbox PC console, then maybe you'd see like high-end, like $800,000, $900,000 consoles that are super powerful. But first party, they're definitely going to be keeping it like $600, around that price range. I've been reading through a lot of subreddits regarding these rumors and this specific article, and a lot of the excitement seems to be like, oh, like I'll definitely buy a handheld or this new Xbox if it guarantees the future of my digital library. Like if I buy this Xbox handheld, I have access to all of my digital games I've amassed over the past however many years. I'm definitely buying that. And I would agree, if that was the case, I would do that too. Fuck yeah. The thing is though, especially if they're going to be running the PC versions of Xbox games, that kind of represents a problem. There are a couple of gaps. There are games that are available on Xbox consoles that you just can't find in the Xbox PC app. And while we're on the subject, they gotta get hustling on Xbox Play Anywhere, because coming out with an Xbox handheld, it's a much stronger pitch, especially if you're sticking with this whole ecosystem idea of, oh, you're playing on your Series X and you want to be on the go, so you pick up your Xbox handheld, you are playing the same game with the same data. All of that hinges on making as many games Xbox Play Anywhere compatible. And the last time we heard about that, especially with their third-party partners, it wasn't looking like they were making a lot of progress on it. All of this to say that somehow we are in this future where, no, Xbox isn't going to stop making hardware. We're going to have at least three different Xbox devices to choose from. Some of them not even made by Microsoft themselves. And damn it, Xbox said that they were about giving us options about how we want to play, where we want to play. And shoot, I mean, it looks like for now that they are at least trying to deliver on that promise in terms of the hardware. And if this article is anything to go off of, the big buzz about a new Xbox controller is Sebille, which showed up in those leaks back in 2023. We've covered them on the channel before, but it's supposed to be launching alongside the next generation Xbox. This thing's supposed to have direct-to-cloud connectivity, fancy new haptics, and some other really cool features like gesture controls, a wake-to-lift feature. We could be heading towards a future where there are multiple controller options when it comes to your Xbox experience. If you want the top of the line premium option, you pick up something like Sebille, especially if you plan on using it with other devices, not just your console, but PC and also cloud. But Xbox also does a really great job too of making sure that their controllers up until this point have been compatible with all of their devices. You can use an Xbox One controller with your Series X and vice versa. So if you don't want to spring for that premium Sebille experience, it would be really cool for Xbox to continue that trend and just have you use your regular Series X controller on whatever next-gen Xbox they're planning on putting out. And of course, I know that there are a lot of hypotheticals in the situation. There's a lot of like, it seems like Xbox is gonna do this. It looks like Xbox is gonna do this. But again, everything that we're hearing, not just from Jez, but everything that we've been hearing up until this point, if you've been following Xbox for a while, all of these features that are being talked about make logical sense. Blending the PC and console experience, having multiple storefronts on a console, incorporating more cloud-centric technology in their accessories. No matter what Xbox does, I'm super excited for it because, well, it seems like they're trying to shake things up in a major way. And for anyone that sat back and said, oh, Gen 9 sucks, Gen 9 is boring, we should be looking towards this next generation with a lot of excitement and hope. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Help me on my journey to 200,000 subs. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.